Got hit up by a lot of our listeners today asking us to go live regarding the Roe versus Wade decision by the Supreme Court. It was 5-4 to overturn it and return the power back to the states. We thought we'd have some actual women on the show here with actual vaginas, because it would be dumb just to have dudes talk about this. In my opinion, as a dude, though, I think this is probably one of the dumbest decisions of all time. I understand the Constitution. I understand the 9th and 10th Amendments. However, giving power back to the states for something like this is purely going to be political at this point versus who is going to run these states, what they're going to run on, and who their base actually is. On the conservative side, there is a large base that is religious. It's a big Christian base over there. I don't know that people necessarily believe in it all that much, but the people do, and that's how you get the votes to get in there. We'll start with Brittany real quick here. What were your thoughts this morning?
Dan's spicy about it already. So I just, it's my vagina. I should get to decide if I want to abort the little shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously. I think there's more implications, and obviously it's not just, taking away our right to get an abortion. It's just there's so many other things that come along with that, and never in the history of man, without being totally forced to, have people, chosen to just take care of this issue. So you're saying like it goes back to the states. Yeah. And then they're just going to fucking
overturn it. I mean, I think it's automatically triggered in 26 states today. 27 states. Yeah. So that's what I mean by giving the power back to the states. If it's already set in stone in 26 states, then you're fucked. There is no real power with the states.
Mm-hmm. Sure, there is.
How?
So things that are passed in the state legislature go to the state Supreme Court. That's it. This is how this is supposed to work. All of this is supposed to work this way. Roe v. Wade was bullshit when it was decided in the first place. Casey was even bigger bullshit when it was decided. We can get into all that as well, but this is how this is all meant to happen. This is how our Constitution was written. The end.
Right, but there has been amendments to the Constitution over time.
That's right, and there were amendments that either delimited the government or provided specific rights to things like self-defense, but at no point in the Constitution or its history has like personal medical decisions been a constitutional right or anything like that. It's just not. It's apples and oranges. It's not the same thing.
But when the Constitution was written, how long ago? 250 years ago?
244, maybe. What year is this?
22.
Yeah, 22.
Well, I guess the Constitution was written in a couple years after.
But they didn't even have abortions back then. So how can you see into the future and predict what that is and why?
Well, abortion has been around for thousands of years.
But in this country?
Well, this country is only that
They
old.
were born.
Yeah.
They were born.
Yeah. They were dying a lot and it wasn't really working that well, but they were doing it.
There's throughout history, there's been various things from like shitty, like actual medical procedures to like teas and all kinds of like proto-chemical shit, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
There was, so you're saying the idea that it was, it felt like it was something that was in place that we could kind of count on. And now it seems it's true that it's now more in flux. It's going to be harder in certain places, completely illegal other places. And that idea that we were able to, have an abortion without having to tell people, without having to travel, without having to do all of that is probably going to be gone in a lot of places. That's true, correct?
It depends on where you live, but in some places that might be true, yeah.
In a lot, and I think there's actually states, you can probably, the amount of states that
I'll
probably
pull the graphic. But I mean, it's already outlawed in Missouri, so I mean, it's going to be outlawed here, I would assume.
And you don't see that as a problem?
Sure, it's a problem, but amending the Constitution or having the court decide is not the solution to that problem.
So you're saying Roe v. Wade, the precedent that was sent, that was a problem?
Yes.
Up until now, because why?
It's a problem when the court becomes activist, when they start ruling on things that they have no business ruling on. And the reason that this is allowed to happen in the first place is because it isn't because the left has some heartfelt love for women, because that's clearly not true. It's not because people in this country respect women, also clearly not true.
By the way, that's exactly what I'm saying. So
yes.
If you leave it up to people, they will not do it.
The reason that people have relied on the court historically over the last 40 years or so and demanded that persist is because these politicians don't want to take up the responsibility themselves to get something done on this issue. That's why. It's because they don't want to send this issue to battleground states where fucking politicians have to vote one way or the other and lose half of their constituency.
I don't want that to happen either.
But that's exactly
that's
what's
the way.
gonna happen.
This is the country we fucking live in. If you don't like the rules, then I'm sorry, but these are the rules.
So you're the only one that gets to complain about the way things are.
No, everybody can complain about it, but the second
so
half.
I can say, even if you say the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
I can still say that this exact issue has affected me and a lot of other people, and this not if I wasn't able to do this, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I can still say that without it being right.
Without it being what?
Without it just being like, well, Constitution. Because I do feel like you guys have conversations.
I didn't just say, well, Constitution, though. I said, well, Constitution, plus here's the actual way that this problem needs to be handled in our current system of government.
Right, which has worked so well.
It hasn't, and the government is broken, and that's what I have the biggest issue with, is you send it back to the states. Government's broken already. Look.
Everybody loved states' rights when it came to things like privacy and guns and everything else, but now when it goes back because of an issue you disagree with, this is the problem. Everybody's calling for the dissolution of the court now because they don't agree with the decision. Like, this is nonsense.
But this isn't just abortion either. It's IVF and everything.
Yeah, that's what they're coming after next.
Yeah.
And that was in the decision today from specifically Clarence Thomas. They're looking at gay marriage, they're looking at contraception, they're looking at all of it now, and that's a fucking problem as well.
Well, he's completely wrong about that, and that won't go with the court. Like, that's a decision. So first of all, he is the ranking member of the majority party, which means he is the person who chose Samuel Alito to write the majority opinion, not himself, which he could have done. Right. That is a minority opinion on the court. That the what is it? Fucking
Oberfell
or Oberfell.
Oberfell, something like that. It's a weird German name.
Yeah, Oberfell decision. That is a protected class, right?
Yeah.
That's a protected class. It has nothing to do with this abortion issue at all. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about. It does extend beyond to IVF and birth control, though.
Yeah, because I read the Missouri bill or something where he said if this was overturned that they were going after IVF and everything.
Yeah.
Which is fucked. That's fucked up.
It's fucked.
Yeah, because what if you want to have a kid but you can't? Now you can't at all. You can't even do that.
So, Dan, you want to leave it up to the states. My question is, so like in Missouri, you can't do this here, of course. You can't do it in New York either, but that doesn't matter because New York's fine. But like in Missouri, for example, you can put a state amendment on the ballot through petition.
Correct. Yeah, California's the same way.
Right.
And it's not very difficult to get some. It's like it typically costs a campaign about $3 million to get something on the ballot, which is not that much money, politically speaking.
Would that be the way to go about legalizing abortion on a state level?
Yeah, I would say that's a good route. I mean,
because that also cuts out the ledge.
This is a really difficult conversation to have because it affects so many people, right? And because nobody likes to be told what to do. I got it. But this is the way our system of government works. Like, if you're coming with a solution to this problem, it is to give more power to the federal government or to give more power to the court. You have to imagine that same power in the hands of people that you hate and what decisions they might make in that circumstance. The whole purpose of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is to limit the power of government and to make sure everybody knows exactly what we're entitled to. That's the point of it.
How long has Roe been? 50 years?
50 years, yeah, right around 50.
What does that have to do with anything?
Just that has been...
Like the Jim Crow laws existed for a long time as well. That doesn't make them right.
It doesn't make this right either. Because now it's going back to the states, and the states are going to vote on this. Let's face it, it's going to get nuked in, 26 already? Then you're going to have to go to petition?
I don't know. Show me the graphic here, because I'm not aware of a bunch of states that are trying to make it completely illegal.
Missouri just did.
Right now?
This morning. Yeah, as soon as it was announced. I mean, they had it good to go.
Yeah, so they all have it in. There's this many that have it in place. So
Texas wasn't as quick, but I have to assume that Ken Paxton and et al. Will probably limit it severely. I don't know about Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, shit like that. The case is from Mississippi, so
they've got 26 on here.
I'm not sure what gestational limit means. Florida
Gestational limit means 15 weeks.
Right. So Florida just passed a 15-week bill, which it should be noted.
That is the most popular decision.
yeah,
In the country.
15 weeks is what is more than most of Western Europe.
yeah.
And
It's
Northern
when
Europe.
it's like 6 weeks.
Right.
Most girls don't even know at that point.
No, and
No,
then you can't
you
get
can
the
go to
appointment,
Freebirds
and
tonight.
you can't.
I feel like you're pregnant.
You can't get the appointment and get in time. That's the other thing.
I know
as
that's
well.
how Kansas was also, because that was the closest to Kansas City was where girls would get their abortions in Kansas at Planned Parenthood. And I think it was, you couldn't even get in there until
Right.
you were 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be the date of you going in, not like making the appointment.
And oftentimes you don't know. Look, both of you guys are obviously mothers. With your child, for example, how many weeks did you know personally?
I didn't know until I was probably 9 or 10 weeks along.
Okay.
That I was even pregnant.
Yeah, I think
which
the
I was young,
most
but-
was maybe 8, like 15 weeks. 15 weeks. You know you're pregnant.
You're definitely
You've
pregnant.
known for a while, and you've had time. 6 to 8 weeks. That's when it gets like that's basically illegal in my making it illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 weeks is not that long, especially girls that don't even have regular periods and they're irregular. They don't even know. They're like, oh, it's just, I'm fine.
Yeah.
This is normal. And then
Yeah.
you've already passed that limit.
So what they're saying is 18 states have already immediately outlawed abortion, including some of them are Democrat states. I'm surprised. Michigan, Wisconsin is in there. You're up to 18 states who have already banned it, and that's going to continue even more. One of the biggest issues with this, I'll read them off real quick. Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wyoming. 5 other states have also now banned terminations. Michigan and Wisconsin. 8 other states are set for new laws. Georgia, Iowa, South Carolina, Alabama, Arizona, and West Virginia. That's fast. That's very fast that this happens. Look, the most affected here are probably going to be poor areas and people who can't afford it. What are they supposed
And
to do?
younger people.
Yeah.
'Cause, you can't, if you need to go to another state, you're going to have to
Find a ride.
tell somebody.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, because look, again, the biggest issue, I understand the Constitution, but states are also broken. And most of these parties, most of these Supreme Courts are slanted to whoever you're voting for in those districts. I mean, we always say defund politicians, and all politicians are cunts on this show all the time. I don't trust them either is the problem. I don't trust the federal government that much, and I don't trust our state governments that much to make great decisions. And I think we're fucked. This is one of those issues where, you and I talked about this morning. Why release this early in the morning like this unless you didn't want to riot,
Yeah, they want the riots for sure.
Yeah.
And they're going to happen. They'll start probably later on this afternoon and carry over through the weekend, I would guess.
Yeah. Right now, I don't know, Bob, if you can pull that up, how many people are already protesting outside the Supreme Court now? Those barriers aren't very big. And they sure as fuck don't look like they're going to stop anyone.
They're like your pool fence.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like
Yeah.
Which
that's
could
what it
very
is.
Full fence for
easily get
children.
through.
Yeah.
They should electrify it, though, just for fun.
Yeah.
Not a lot,
Yeah, make
just a
it
little.
look- yeah.
Like a little electrified. So
Just
you can,
zaps.
you could get over it if you really wanted to, but
Yeah.
In the meantime,
They should actually make it really look like it's really easy to get over, but then make it super electrified.
Fucking zap you.
So people just try and step over it.
Get zapped.
Yeah. AOC was out there. She walked into the crowd without security and just said, "Fuck it" today. I was pretty surprised at that. I was like,
okay,
well, shit. All right. Is that current right now, Bob?
Yeah, this is today. I don't.
I mean, is that little fence going to stop anybody from burning this fucking place to the ground tonight?
I will say the people, if I was there, the people that really would make me riot is that little blue, they're like in blue shirts, little dookie dukes, dummy dumbs, jumping around and dancing.
They don't have the fake period blood girls out there yet?
I will say the people, the people on the losing side seem just pretty somber. For the most part, not really that at the point that I was watching.
Right.
They didn't seem too fired up. They didn't seem ready to fight. But those fucking the people that won, that one little group of the goobers.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a guy popping champagne.
Oh god.
Yeah. Because by the way, on both sides of this, there's people from both sides.
Those are the ones that are going to make people punch them in the face.
Yeah, and there's people from both sides of this issue that are currently there right now. I know when I left the house, police were breaking up one fight. I don't know how long that's going to last tonight, but this will continue on through the weekend. On the Republican side, I don't know why you make this decision before November when you had everything locked up. All of it. Senate, House, you had it all pretty much locked up. Because there are going to be some states that are close during this November. This could be the tipping point for that. And I'm not sure anybody asked for this. Like, who was the one that started this campaign for this?
Well, the Republicans have been trying to do this
for a very long
for 50
time.
and since Roe became a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been like something they've campaigned on quite a bit. Oddly enough, I mean, so to your point, you would like to think that the court didn't consult with Republican politicians before they decided when and where to release this decision or whether to make it in the first place.
No. I'm surprised that they didn't consult with everybody and say, hey, just do
separation of powers. It's not supposed to work like that.
No, I understand that. But clearly, I mean, politics-wise, what happened over there?
Nothing.
Complaining about his headphones.
Yeah.
Bob's complaining.
Oh, well, let's get that.
What a shock.
He's got a vagina.
You're not the only ones who are having issues with their body freedom right now, all right?
That's fair, Bob.
He's just pissed he doesn't have the good Dunkins by his house.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
the problem is.
He asked us to turn the headphones down, and we have the technology.
Exactly.
You want to add that to the Constitution as well?
Yeah. Why not?
Right to headphone volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, but clearly they didn't consult with anybody, and obviously they don't have to. It's just a curious decision of why and now.
Well, it's because it's when the case came through their docket.
And whose was it? Like, who actually filed this? Do we know?
Some dicks in Mississippi. Who knows?
Yeah, it was a Mississippi.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that went to the Supreme Court.
They essentially, I read an article about this a little while back. They essentially just used the same legal strategy that they use to stop school segregation, which is you just keep bringing cases until you get Brown versus the Board of Education. Yeah. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
You only need to win once.
Right. No, completely. And in this one, how long has this been sitting at the Supreme Court? Do we know that? I find the timing extremely odd. That's all.
Did you guys see The Family on Netflix?
No.
Family?
The one with the weird cult in D.C. or whatever?
Well, like that Christian cult.
Yeah, it's like a men's club or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, they're weird as shit.
That basically gets people elected and runs D.C. from what it looked like, right? That's kind of what this feels like a little bit.
I think they heard this in October.
Dobbs v. Women's Health
October of
Organization.
last year?
Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
Is that the case, Dobbs?
Yeah, it's Dobbs.
Yeah, Dobbs versus...
Dobbs has been trending all day.
I want to see when it was originally filed in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see as well. Because the other part of this, legally speaking, because it's all well and fine to say, hey, all right, I'm going to go and argue before the Supreme Court in my own state and try to get it overturned here, but it's very, very expensive, and it takes fucking forever. for this shit. I don't even know how long this has been in motion as far as when this was filed and then when they actually made the decision. But all court cases are not quick. So in the meantime, as people file in these different states, you're probably looking at 2 to 3 years before this is even heard in front of the Supreme Court.
Well, I don't imagine this. I can't imagine that the Supreme Court would take this case again.
No. In your states.
State, yeah.
So, who's got the money for that? Certainly if you're, I don't know, living in poverty or you're lower class, you don't have the fucking money for shit like this. To me, shit's gonna get wild, man. This is one of the issues, in my opinion. This and guns, where people would have rioted on either side here. And I think we're going to see that very, very shortly.
So this case came from the March 2018 bill that Mississippi passed. So the case has been working its way through the courts for about 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Give or take.
Yeah. And that's how long it's going to take in your states.
Well, state courts are quite a bit faster. So it should be maybe a year, 18 months, who knows, but... Yeah.
But in the meantime, pregnancy is 9 months. What are you going to do for the next year, 18 months in between that? And now that it is, we have a number roughly today of what's going to happen. I mean, you're looking at half the states. Show that map one more time, Bob. I'm just looking at travel times, too. If you're trying to just drive out of Texas.
Well, especially if you're poor or you're younger, like Jesse was saying.
Yeah.
This is going to be really hard.
How do you get there and, fuck, dude, you gonna fly out to take an abortion?
No, because your flight will probably be canceled.
Yeah.
Well,
17 fucking times.
Right, happy birthday,
Yes,
by the way.
thank you.
There's
Really
also the
fucked.
fun added fact that a state like Texas will reward people for ratting you out and suing you for traveling to another
snitches
state.
here.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
but
is-
there's nothing they can do about that.
What do you mean?
Weed, for example, is a Schedule 3 narcotic or something like that. But if I go to California right now and smoke a bunch of weed, there's nothing that the state of Texas can do to me about that. Because California has legalized it and Texas has it. So this...
Look, I'm coming from a place, a different place, obviously, than you guys, so I don't really know why I'm here. But I guess just because you guys wanted vaginas.
No, I would like to hear your thoughts.
It's just that one side was fighting longer and harder. And we got comfortable, we got complacent, and we started fucking trying to be football coaches instead of getting our asses into the positions to make these decisions. RBG, say what you fucking will, but she wasn't protesting outside the pool fence. She was becoming a lawyer, being inside, and being able to make the decisions. So, we have to stop trying to fucking lift as much and throw as far.
Do dude shit and do female shit?
No, just like we got comfortable, we got complacent, and I myself was like, that would never happen. Even when, Trump got elected and the left was, hysterical, as they always do, which makes me like just turn off. I'm like, shut up. But they were hysterical about Roe v Wade, and I was like, that will never happen. That will never happen. And
I said the same thing in 2016. Yeah.
And it, one side just has been fighting for it really fucking hard, and they won. So it feels it's a visceral reaction, despite what it means, the Constitution, all of that. It's a visceral reaction because it just trickles down into so many other things as far as women are concerned. But we can't make any change from outside the gates. Like, that little sign means fucking nothing. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's true. And the other odd thing that I found today is all the dudes celebrating online.
Right.
Where it's like, we have nothing to do with that.
Oh, I can't wait for, sometime in the next 2 years probably or so, I'm trying to think of a timeline for it, but some dude, like the cat whose picture was taken at the Capitol riots and they tried to burn him down for it or whatever the fuck, some dude that is celebrating there right now is going to be in a paternity suit.
Oh, yeah.
18 to 24 months from now. He's like, oh, fuck.
Be careful, dude. Be careful.
If we can't have an abortion, then you need to start paying child support the day that we conceive also.
Exactly. Well, this is another thing. Like our show yesterday, I was politely asking Ross, to get a little tiny laser snip.
You won't
on
get the
his
V?
fucking-
Yeah.
No.
My body, my choice.
He
And I said the same thing to
by the
her.
way, he doesn't have to.
Said the same thing to
right?
her.
He doesn't have to. Nobody is like forcing him
Right.
to take care of the kid, and they kind of do, but by the way,
My
as we
Kane's
both
dad
know,
owes like 35 grand in back child support.
What
Yeah,
I
They don't
said-
do anything.
You're definitely
Right.
getting that.
Yeah, never.
what I said on the show was like, we have to do so much. I'm like, I'm done doing stuff. I'm done putting fucking birth control in my body that makes me fucking fat and crazy. I'm done fucking having kids
But
and
even getting your
abortions and all
tubes
of that
tied
shit.
fucks with you also.
All of it.
All of that.
Can I tell you why this is your fault?
Please, Bob.
Please, Bob, go ahead.
Because you wouldn't let him on the other side of the curtain.
Ah.
Because if he had seen,
Yeah.
he had been in the trenches.
Yeah.
If you had seen that afterbirth come out, he would have been like, all right, me next.
Yeah.
He would be like, okay, maybe I
Snip,
can
snap.
get a tiny little laser. By the way, they give you fucking 30.
You get Valium and all kinds of shit. You don't feel it. You'll
You
be
get
fine.
30 painkillers. What'd they give me? Ibuprofen.
After having a baby, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
So-
but if you like the fall of man, right, in the Bible,
Sure.
the penalty that man has to pay for his original sin against God is to work the land, and the penalty that women have to pay is the pain of childbearing.
I get, and I
The end. I'm just-
right. No, end of story, motherfucker. No, and I, in some ways, look, it's working in some ways, and makes there's an argument to be made about the economy benefiting from all of that, whatever. But again, it's hard to speak about this without it becoming. Again, kind of like a New York Times article where I'm just talking about anecdotes and shit, where it's like, that's just where it goes, and it's not an argument, and that's why we lost.
Sure,
So,
I agree with that.
you know?
And I think that
but it doesn't
that's
mean that it's not fucking real, and it's going
Sure.
to affect,
A lot of
again,
people.
people's lives in a way that, like, I can directly look back at my life and say that I wouldn't be here if I hadn't utilized this in the way that I was able to utilize it, which is not telling anybody and dealing with myself and, continuing on in my life. Whatever you guys feel about me doing that, I'm just saying that I did.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I understand that, and I think I don't really give a shit about this issue. What I care about is the law, like government functioning the way it's supposed to. Because
I understand.
when we smooth out the edges that are meant to be sharp, then we allow these fucking cunts that are in charge of us all the time make worse and worse decisions. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm not saying this is the fucking hill to plant your flag on. I don't give a fuck about abortion. It doesn't affect me.
Right.
But the system is the system. The Constitution is what is my Bible. I don't give a fuck about any of this other stuff.
Right.
And
But,
and you're right. It's the solution to this ultimately is for people to fucking take charge of their government. It's not to rely on fucking 9 geriatrics
Exactly.
or I guess 400 other geriatrics
Right.
in Congress.
Right. And
It's-
we got comfortable, and we just did, because in order, same with, Brown versus Border, all of these, you just have these basic things in place so that you can, like, go on with your life and try and make something of it. Even if we still have inequality, which we do among, women or any minorities, you had sort of this 50-year-old thing that was in place that you could always be, that could be a base for you to get ahead in some ways if something bad were to happen, right?
Right.
So that's just not there anymore. It feels a little bit
Here's
like...
here's my rebuttal to that, because I think you're right. The constituency bears some responsibility for letting it get to this point, but the Democrats in Congress, if this is how they align themselves, which is to say pro-abortion, have had 50 years to pass meaningful legislation on this issue, and they have done nothing. They haven't even tried.
That's
All
what
they've
I'm
done is
saying.
lead on the court. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
From your point of view, it seems like you're talking about us, but I like
In a way, but yeah.
But it's like these people have failed us as well, and that's why they're fucking losers.
Yeah.
They're hall monitors. The people that become politicians, they're fucking hall monitors. Like,
Yeah.
oh, check me out, I'm fucking cool.
Yeah.
They're the biggest losers on earth. Is that really the people we want in charge of us? That's why I'm doing this new show. Is like, fuck all these politicians. What are we doing? Like all of this only works if we do what you're talking about right now. But we'll see about that, right?
Yeah,
but I want to be a football coach. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's more important. I think that's going to make a difference.
Yeah, and I mean, look, partly, like you were saying, it is on women.
Well, I'm saying it's on people that agree with what I'm saying. So that could be men or women in politics, like you were saying, that didn't do anything. So when I say we, I mean the people that, have a reaction to this ruling in this way should have done more. And it could be me, but, I'm busy having fucking kids I don't want to have. But anyway, it could have been me, but I would have liked, and I thought that it was people that were in, politics that were making sure this didn't happen. And of course, like Dan's saying, they did not do it. They did not care. It wasn't top of mind. And now they're like, oh my God. And like Dan's saying, like, they lost. And by they, I mean, we, people that believe that should be a big issue.
They lost because they didn't even really fight.
That's what I'm saying.
They probably just thought nothing was going to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Wasn't going to get overturned.
So 5 minutes after this ruling was announced this morning, I got a campaign finance email from Nancy Pelosi's team.
Oh, God.
And you were
asking
like,
for money.
Here you go. Take it all.
I'm subscribed to all the major left and right politicians.
Same.
Campaign letters because I want to see what they're fucking doing.
Yeah.
Same.
Now, she said this is hypocrisy because yesterday the Supreme Court decided that the states can't decide whether or not people own guns or use guns or whatever
It's
the
totally
fuck, right?
different.
Certainly not the same. Like the Second Amendment is...
Yeah.
It confers a constitutional right for people to possess firearms wherever the fuck they want to go.
Yes.
Basically.
That doesn't
That's not a state's right
affect your
issue.
entire life if you don't have that.
So the 10th Amendment, the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the state, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people, which means a vote.
Yeah.
Right? So the 10th Amendment very clearly states that if something isn't an enumerated constitutional right, then it's not the court's business or the federal government's business. Now, we need to repeal more things from the federal government and give people more control. If you don't like the way shit's going in your area, you can get involved and change it, or you can fucking leave. You know what I mean? Like, you have the freedom of movement here in the United States. Poor people don't.
Yes.
Right.
That's a problem, but poverty is a problem for everything. Every time there's any kind of issue, politicians on one side or the other who are trying to take advantage of it or make their point say, well, this affects this group even more. Like, everything affects poor people more.
Yeah.
COVID killed more poor people because they don't have access to medicine.
Right.
Everything. Like, they have worse diets. Anytime there's a financial crisis, they get hit harder. That's just the way it works. Poverty seems like what we should be looking to solve.
And I want to be clear. I think when Roe v. Wade was
Enacted?
I didn't think it was probably a constitutional right, but I liked that it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew that it probably wasn't exactly what should be happening as far as law and all of that, but it was really something that I was glad that they went outside of a little bit and made that a precedent. But again, like, I know that it's not supposed to be, right?
But what happens when something gets made a precedent that you don't like?
Doesn't that happen all the time?
Does it? By the Supreme Court?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, every day somebody, no matter what the decision is, half the people are going to disagree with it.
I'm telling Kane.
No, there is one.
I'm joking.
The Citizens United case is pretty problematic. But the Citizens United case, it's what I always make fun of Mitt Romney for. Corporations are people, my friend.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It said that companies giving money to political campaigns is protected by the First Amendment, basically. That's what it says. Could be right. Technically, right? I don't agree with it, but that's how the world works, right?
Well, how did it get...
is that like the Hobby Lobby case and shit?
No, the Hobby Lobby case was Obamacare, and they were trying to get out of paying for birth control.
Okay, but didn't they say that, like, the Hobby Lobby itself was like a...
it may have stemmed from that at some point, yeah.
So how did it get enacted in the first place 50 years ago?
Roe v. Wade?
Yeah.
An activist court.
Okay.
That's how.
And what is that exactly?
An activist court is a court that takes up a case and decides on it and writes an opinion on it when they have no authority to do so.
Gotcha.
And by the way,
but it was the Supreme Court, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg agrees with what I just said, by the way.
Yeah.
Or did, rather. She's fucking dead.
She's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah.
But she was an awesome person who certainly was pro-abortion, but also understood the Constitution very well.
Yeah, I think when it got passed, it was making pretty good headway in the states. And then that got passed, and Ginsburg was upset because she was like, it was an iffy ruling, and then now everyone just dropped it in the states, essentially.
It was going to be made federally legal within the next couple of years, and the court just said, oh, fuck it, let's just go ahead and do this. They stepped outside of their parameters and did it and fucked us over.
And made it more divisive,
Yes.
made it more,
Yep.
So
But I understand your argument because Brown v. Board of Education, if we had put desegregation up to a vote in Congress in 1965, would it have passed? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you don't know that.
No,
you don't know that.
You don't know, but it's
Should
a
it
guess.
have, like, if you're taking out, again, if you're taking out a motion,
Sure.
you feel like, should it have? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but so wouldn't you like to have had a federal vote on that just to see who did and didn't vote for it so we didn't have those same people who were against it cower behind the 1965 ruling for the next 30 years in politics? Because I sure would have liked that.
Brown v. Board was 1954.
54, yeah. Sorry. 65 is the Civil Rights Amendment. Yeah.
So 54, I feel safe in saying no.
Probably not. I mean, Strom Thurmond, who served in Congress until he was like
65 years
until he was 93, I think, until
crazy.
1996 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he was in 1948 he ran for president on the segregationist ticket.
Yeah.
To make sure that schools stayed segregated.
I mean, Wallace got pretty good headway running in the 60s for president as well, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know that would have worked then. What happens?
Well, I mean, it would have. When you say
Eventually.
worked, they may not have voted to authorize it then, but it would have worked in identifying who the cunts were. And I think that's an important part of the process. It's why, as I was talking about earlier, all of these, Pelosi's been Speaker of the House for some time now, and everybody knew that Trump was putting justices on the court. They've seen this coming for a very long time now, a couple of years legislatively, but just in general, it's been happening for 40, 50 years, right? And nothing has been done about it. They're trying to hide behind the court's rulings because they don't want to take responsibility for it. That's what's happening here.
So Pelosi can stand up there and say, I'm fucking outraged, when in fact she's
been in Congress for 70,000 years.
And did nothing. And she's one of the people that I'm talking about, again, because I'm fucking busy.
Sure.
But she's one of the people that could have done something and didn't, and was too busy putting on some Nubian garb or whatever the fuck she did.
But she asked you for money
It was Kente.
5 minutes afterwards.
Kente garb. Yeah.
hang on.
Yes, it was. I got the same email. Because I follow all these guys too. I just want to know
what they're saying.
What's going on. Yeah, like the other one I talked about the other day was Kamala. She was originally charging for a pic for $25,000, and you get a picture with her, and that went to the donations, and nobody wanted it.
No.
So she had to drop the price down to $5,000.
Does anyone want that?
I got the email, and it said, "Hey, would you like to meet Kamala?" And it's $5,000 for a picture, and that's all you're. And I'm like, whoa.
This Pelosi one was like, this isn't. I swear to God, one of the lines in the email is, "This isn't a normal fundraising email."
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
nice.
Yeah, because they have ones that go on. They're all in my fucking junk. I mean, Republicans and Democrats, and they're just waiting on these. So I mean, they're already pre-written.
Yep.
And so as soon as decisions like this come out,
They hit send.
boom, yeah.
Yeah, that's how fast they're illegally. They're. Oh.
Go ahead.
I know. Words are hard today.
That's
it's
how
hard to be a
fast they're
female
making-
today.
Yeah, that's how fast they're making abortion illegal.
Yeah.
They have that button right when she presses the button for that.
So
But-
what are the chances that they end up packing the court now, or I mean, trying to get rid of, like, the fucking Twitter's on fire with everything that's going on right now, obviously. What are the chances that they try to pack the court?
So before that happens, you have to use the nuclear option in the Senate, which is, again, ending cloture votes, ending the 60-vote rule. So are they the only way? Well, I don't think they would ever do it. That would be so stupid to do that, because Republicans are going to take the Senate.
And like I said, clearly they don't care, or else they would have done something before this. So if you think that, and I'm sure Dan says this all the time, but if you think that politicians give a shit about you,
They don't.
They don't.
None of them.
No, none of them.
Either
whatsoever.
side.
Yeah.
They don't
Either
care.
side doesn't give a shit.
I mean,
Definitely not.
I use the example of the asbestos outbreak or the asbestos poisoning that was going on. I think it was in the 70s. And the OSHA, FDA, everybody knew about it. And they actually they went through and added up the price of the human life that would have been lost and then the price of what it would take to actually fix the problem. And they decided to let the people die.
Mm-hmm. They didn't want to spend the money.
Because what is that? There's like the person in government that basically puts a price on human life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
their
it's like,
job.
remember that scene from Fight Club where he's explaining to the woman on the plane that he works for a major automobile company? And
Yes.
There's a formula. They put the amount of people that die from like a fucked up seatbelt or some shit like that. And if it's not enough, then they just let it go.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a person in government that that.
How much is a person worth?
I mean, it changes, right?
Yeah,
Depending
yeah.
on like insurance.
Well, right now
or-
there's inflation, so.
Oh,
Yes.
so
Yes. We're
Human
worth more.
inflation.
they may choose the person this time, but I bet they don't.
Don't.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's going to happen. John
Yeah.
Burton in the chat says, considering the Constitution, would Congress have any place creating legislation related to abortion, or would it fall to the states and the people? That's a good question. I don't think so. Pelosi's said this morning in her address that this was going to be the key issue for the November elections, and it may be at the local level, but I don't. Well, I mean, people don't really understand how the Constitution works, so it probably will be. But I don't think Congress can enact a lot. Like the Supreme Court just said that this is a states' rights issue. I don't know if Congress has the authority now to pass a bill for this, honestly.
Well, you know, I don't know.
Like a federal bill. I don't
Yeah.
actually know.
That makes two of us.
I don't either. And Biden was on earlier. He gave a speech this morning.
He was on the show?
Yeah.
You
No.
had him
he-
in here, person?
He wouldn't know if he was.
Yeah. I was on Drinkin, bros. Were you?
Did you see that card they gave him?
No.
No.
Oh, Bob, pull it up.
Yeah. That had all the talking points on it.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit.
It wasn't talking points. It was telling him to walk
directions
inside and sit down.
It was
Shut up.
directions. Swear to God.
Where? At a speech he gave?
Yeah. So, and they zoomed in on a card. And it was actually Getty Images who accidentally caught it. So it wasn't like, Yeah. Can you read that aloud, Bum?
Is that real, guys?
This is 100% real.
Okay.
Yeah.
You enter the Roosevelt room and say hello. You take your seat.
Yep. In all caps, by the way.
Yeah. Press enters. You give brief comment. It specifies the minutes, but his finger's covering it up. You ask Liz Schulter, President, AFL-CIO, a question. And then it notes that Liz will be over Zoom. You thank participants. You depart.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's what you give your child who's 7 years old at his
When you-
recital.
Yeah.
You
sing here, you dance
And it's all
here.
in
Yeah.
caps.
It's all in
You.
caps. It's all in
I've
caps,
never
yeah.
seen any better reason to invoke the 25th Amendment than that right there.
That's
Like, honestly,
insane.
that guy can't even, like, how much worse can Kamala be? You know what I mean? Like
that another one?
She's an
Yeah.
ineffectual dum-dum, too, so it's not like she's actually going to be doing stuff. It'll just be the same crew running stuff, but at least we won't be completely embarrassed by this before.
The only thing she won't do, I'm not sure, but the only thing is like fall over on bikes and like shit like that. But she's still exactly just
she
gonna
can
like
remain upright, yeah.
yeah, but that's about it.
Whoever's
right?
telling him what to do is going to tell her what to do.
Exactly. Impeach is also trending right now. They want to impeach justices. To my knowledge, that has never happened.
No, it hasn't, but it could. There's a process for it.
And what is that process?
I think it's a 2/3 vote of the Senate, right, to impeach a justice.
Gotcha.
I believe.
Gotcha.
But who would you impeach?
But it would have to be like for some kind of crime.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair to like Joe Manchin put out a statement this morning saying that he was kind of upset about this because
Alarmed is what he said.
all
yeah.
of these justices, the last three that have been appointed before Ketanji Brown Jackson, said that they believed Roe was settled.
They said it was precedent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that they
And
wouldn't
super,
overturn it.
I think they said super precedent. Didn't they?
One of them maybe
One
did.
of them, I think.
But definitely Barrett
Yeah.
and
Is that another one,
Kavanaugh.
Bob?
They, to be
were
honest,
pretty
guys,
clear how they felt about it. So.
kind of. They danced a little bit around it, but for the most part, you thought that they were like, no, I go by precedent, and it has already been set. And whatever.
Yeah, I mean, for like the legitimacy of the court and stare decisis. How do you say that?
No
What's
one
that?
knows.
Precedent. It's the Latin for precedent. It's like
Ross.
stare
Decisis?
Yeah, stare decisis. Yeah.
In vino veritas. That's about all I can give you, okay? It's from Tombstone. All right, Doc Holliday said that. And I'm all good on Latin. It's a dead language, Bob. I'm going to fucking
In
pull out
nome
some
Patri,
Sanskrit. Yeah.
Spili, Spiritus Sancti.
How high are you right now, Giorgio?
Just high enough to fire back a Tombstone reference. Big fan of that, Giorgio. You might have
Wait,
won
was
the
that
day on that.
Tombstone or
Yeah.
Boondock Saints?
Boondock.
Right?
Oh, that's Boondock Saints. Oh.
I mean, that's just
exposed
that's just
yourself,
Catholic
Ross.
mass.
Shit. Well, no,
just
when
showed
he's
your
talking
ass.
to him, the guy spits Latin right back to him, and he goes, "We don't want any trouble here in any language." Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, that's trending right now. Impeaching these guys, packing the court is obviously trending right now. It was a 5-4 decision, so that means one of the conservative judges flipped. Who was that? Do you know?
Wait, no.
No, it was
Roe
both 5-4.
6-3.
So it was 6-3 decision, but Roberts, there was like a decision with in like a broader sense. He went 5-4. I have to pull up the Wall Street Journal again. Roberts had a weird like in between situation.
Yeah, he wanted to have his cake and also eat it.
Yeah.
He's a pussy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people talking shit in the chat here.
Tons
Why?
about what?
I
Just
figured.
everything.
Weird.
Oh, you guys have exposed yourselves. Like, okay, cool, man.
No, they have.
Expose herself to what?
By the
though?
way, they haven't. It was just us.
I don't fucking care.
It's just
I
the
don't care at
girls
all.
on
But like,
here.
if you can't have a
Don't
conversation
worry.
about,
Don't worry.
If you can't have a conversation about this, that's the problem with everything that's going on in the country right now. Is nobody's willing to have a conversation. We'd have fucking Democrats on this show.
Yeah.
Shit, if Biden wanted to come on the goddamn show, I'd have him on the show.
You think
if
he'd
you
bring
can't
a
have honest
notepad?
conversations with people, yes, he would
Tell
say
him what to do?
You tell
You
Ross.
secretly hired a
down.
bunch of them.
Yeah, I don't even have the chat up, Dan, because I don't want to.
I don't care.
I want to address some of the stuff. Like, Ross brought up impeachment because it's on Twitter.
It's on Twitter. I'm not asking for it.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
A lot of this other stuff, like you say, one guy said murder is not nuanced. You just read that as it is. Yeah, it's true, right?
Yeah.
But whether or not this is murder is nuanced.
Right.
People don't agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually,
That's-
the majority of people don't agree with you that,
Yeah.
that this is murder, depending on when it happens, right? So about 60% of Americans agree that before 15 weeks is acceptable. The majority of people agree
Right.
with that. So believe whatever you want.
Yeah, believe it, everyone. And again, we're bringing up things that are going on right now. Not only on TV because they broke into every ABC, NBC, CBS. Like this is wall to wall coverage at this point. But also going to Twitter is the closest thing. Insurrection is also trending, and it's like, well, what if they go inside the Supreme Court? Like
Another January
those
6th.
pool fences aren't going to do it.
Look, if there's no weapons, it's no big deal. Just let them go in there and fucking break shit for a while. It's whatever. It's just a couple idiots, and then we move on with our
and
lives.
if it's women, like I kind of want to see that. If they put that, like I think now's the time to put cameras inside there, and let's go pay-per-view and just have a bunch of hot chicks
See what happens.
fuck shit up tonight. Just see what happens. See how this all goes down. What else is trending here? Hillary Clinton, obviously. That was what she ran on, actually. One of the big things she ran on in 2016. She said this would get overturned.
You think she's going to run again?
No.
I don't know that they have a better option.
Right.
So, yes.
Would it be
I
Trump against Hillary again?
Could you imagine?
Here's my fucking problem with these jackasses that are talking shit.
In the
you're-
chat?
Yeah. Well, in general, all around the world right now, people celebrating and shit. You're all in favor of limiting the government when it suits you. But when you agree with what the government, when you agree with the authoritarianism, now you're all in favor of it. Like, you're a fucking hypocrite. How dare you fucking question my goddamn integrity on this situation? Like, the Constitution is the fucking guidepost for all this. And I've been very clear about that. But if you think that the fucking government is the solution and passing more laws is the solution, then I want to rewind and listen to everything you've said about guns over the last 20 years. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is polarizing on I mean, it's probably more than 50-50 on this. And it's women. We're fucking dudes. We wanted to have you guys on today, and it's like...
Because we have vaginas.
I mean, I think that, if Dan was talking privately, would have feelings about it, but I think what you need to do in these situations, I can't do it, but you can, which is take the emotion out of it and look at just the law, which is, I understand, and that's exactly where you're coming from. I actually think if you and I had conversation off this, and we're just having it about anecdotes, it would be a completely different conversation. But if we are, again, taking the emotion, which I can't do, and just have a conversation about the law, you're right? Yeah. And, it's not to be insensitive, I understand that, and it's not to be like, fuck all you guys. It's really just, the only way to deal with it, obviously, is to not go with, either side emotion-wise. It's stupid to do that either way. But if you really are honest with yourself on both sides, you just have to look at it, from the Constitution and from a law. And I understand that. But it's not going to happen.
Well, it can, though. There's implications made there. So the implication is that the federal government and the Supreme Court isn't the governing body here. So It's something lower than that, which means now your opinion has more weight than it did yesterday. Whether or not you're in a state that likes or dislikes abortion, as of today, your opinion matters more than it did yesterday because you can vote in your state legislature and have a bigger impact than you ever will at the federal level and at the community level and so on and so forth as you get into smaller government. Aren't they still being governed by the same thing that you're talking about, which is like laws and the Constitution? So no matter where you go at this point, it's going to be hard to find someone that's going to go against that.
Yeah, No. There's state laws and then there's federal laws.
Sure. And what the Supreme Court did today was say that this is not a federal decision to make.
And they're leaving it up to the states, correct?
Right, which is what the 10th Amendment requires of them.
Right.
So they did their jobs correctly.
Right, but Jesse's saying if the
Even
states are going to fall back on the Constitution.
It depends on
they're still going to feel the same way, just at a lower level.
It depends on what. The majority of people do not agree with outright bans on abortion. It's not the reality of the situation, right?
What is it, 30%? I think.
Yeah.
That agree.
That think that abortion should just be outright banned. It's a very small minority. So I don't know each state's constitution and how that works.
Right.
Right. But it is that I know the federal constitution very well, and the 10th Amendment is very specific about this. Now you have the ability to go to your state legislature and because they have real authority, and you can either support them for what they're doing or hold them accountable for what they're doing. You have the ability to do that as of today. And yesterday you didn't have the ability to do that.
I'm busy.
These states in blue and orange are the ones where you can skip the state ledge as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So when he says skip the state legislation, meaning you can if you get enough signatures, you can put a ballot measure on even midterm elections, or not even midterm, but every single year they have these elections.
Sure.
You remember in California, it's a parcel tax every goddamn year.
Oh yeah.
Or something like that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are also bitching here on Twitter about the hearings for these justices because they were all Gorsuch and Kavanaugh were asked in their testimony that they were insistent on the importance of supporting longstanding precedents that the country has relied upon. Obviously, this is one of them. It's been 50 years at this point. And I guess, since they brought this up, both of those, I'm assuming, did vote to strike it down.
Because I think they're also originalists, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of can't be both.
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
In this instance, I guess.
Right? This is a question from the audience, and I don't know if this is petulant or pedantic from a man's perspective, but JW asks, I only have 2 questions we'll give it to both girls. Can a man decide to abort even if the girl doesn't want to? And condoms are cheap. Why not just have conscription? Conscription?
What does he say?
Conscription into the military? I don't know.
Have you had sex with condoms?
Ew.
Yeah,
it sucks.
So much better, raw dog.
Just pull it out, bro.
This is his first question is interesting because it's going to be it's going to become part of this discussion now that it's returned to the states. What role does the man have in deciding whether or not you carry a child to term that belongs to him as well?
You've been to my house, right? Just for example, like who is, taking care of the kids,
children.
Well, it's me. I'm slaving away. I made some chili with an old
I would
wooden
like to
boat
know,
oar
I would
last
actually
night.
like to know the percentage of men that have, I think it happens, but the percentage of men that take the baby and take care of it when the mom is, runs off and does whatever the fuck she wants. That's just, and has to pay child support to the dad, single dad that has chosen to do that. So the percentage of that, I don't even think you can figure that out, Bob, but...
I was going to say Ross's setup sounds dope.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah, Rob does that bullshit
I think-
like 50-50
Like
shit.
actually taking care of your kid.
I think he was asking from the other perspective, not to force you to keep it, but if you tell a dude you're banging, hey, I'm pregnant, and he's like, hey, you should kill that thing.
I think what I meant by that was that the brunt of what's going to ultimately happen with the kid is on the woman, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
In
the
most
answer,
instances,
so the answer to that is if it were equal, where no matter what happened with the kid, either one of you would be, have to solely take care of it. I guess we could have that conversation. But
well, Dave Chappelle has a great clip on this and says if you decide to keep it, then he gets to keep his money, his choice, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot of the time as well. And you
but
know
it's not.
that.
But it's not legal.
It's not.
It's not.
But so if we are going to go back to like the legal thing, then
Yeah.
the conversation's over again because we're talking about things that like usually happen, and the percentage of, just innately and how it has worked out since the dawn of probably women having children. So, yeah, it's a weird conversation. I'm saying like I don't even know if you can answer that question. Right?
With rights come responsibilities. So the definition, I talked about this on my other show, the definition of a citizen is a legally recognized status by a state conferring rights and obligations, right? So you always have both. If something is a right, then it's only right if it's a right for everybody. Otherwise, it's a privilege to some few people.
Right.
And the second part of that is if you're not willing to uphold your end of the bargain, then you forfeit your right. That's my opinion, and I think that's a pretty well-reasoned one. So
so if I take the emotion out of it, then he's right.
If you take the emotion out.
If I take the emotion out, then absolutely, it will affect the man's life affect the man's life equally as far as having to pay for it and having to, not make as much money, not get ahead, probably not go to college, probably have to move back in with his parents, all the things that I argue with the abortion part of it. So if I'm taking the emotion out, then it should have to be a joint decision.
Bernie Sanders is trending as well for a statement he made. I wanted to ask you about this. Overturning Roe versus Wade, denying women.
somebody just said it only costs $4,800 to get sterilized in Mexico.
Really?
There you go, Ross.
Really?
$4,800.
Jesse and I will be on the beach while you go get that snip snap.
What's the difference
Is
between
it a snip?
sterilized?
If I can just take
Okay.
something,
It's a
that's
snip.
fine.
I've been in the
It
room
was
before.
the fact that he said sterilized.
damn it.
I think
Yeah.
that's for women then.
It's a little snip, and it looks, they cut about this much of it out. It looks like a wet noodle.
No, all good. I don't even want to hear it.
It was
Tie
about
it back
10
up,
minutes,
Yeah.
and
They
then
put it back in.
They clamp the ends,
Ugh.
take that little piece out, clamp it, and you're gone in 10 minutes.
damn.
There's only one little incision in
You
your
know
ball
who
sack.
will do it? Dan will do it with you. BOGO.
Yes.
BOGO.
Dan will do it. Dan and Bob may be a 3 for.
We get
Maybe
just
a
have the
3 for-
doctor come to the
3 for
studio
1.
and get everybody.
Yeah, we'll get that same doctor that gave Murr the fucking rectal exam live on camera.
Yeah, why not?
Just have him cut our beanbags
Come
off.
snip
or whatever.
snap for everybody.
Let's do it.
Bernie Sanders' comments here, overturning Roe v. Wade and denying the women rights to control their own bodies is an outrage and a defiance of what American people want. Democrats must now end the filibuster in Senate, codify Roe v. Wade, and once again make abortion legal and safe. Okay, so let's start with the filibuster. Is that a possibility, Dan?
I mean, it's a possibility, but a very
been
stupid
a
decision.
possibility.
But how would one go about it, I guess? What are the
tried
numbers? What do the numbers look like
Hang on.
for that?
I don't want to speak out of turn.
They
here.
tried recently, didn't they?
They were, yes. Well, they've been talking about it.
Talking about it.
But I don't know how many votes you actually need for something like that, and do you need both sides?
Boom, boom, boom.
Because Republicans certainly aren't going to do that.
So how would it actually work? So the most straightforward way to eliminate the filibuster would be to formally change the text of Senate Rule 22, the cloture rule that requires 60 votes to end debate on legislation. Here is the catch. Ending debate on a resolution to change the Senate's standing rules requires support of 2/3 of the members present and voting. Absent a large bipartisan Senate majority that favors curtailing the right to a debate, a formal rule change in Rule 22 is extremely unlikely.
How many senators have to vote for that?
2/3.
So 2/3. They're not going to get those.
67.
You'll never get those numbers.
Yeah.
You'll never get those numbers. Next up is Codify Roe v Wade. What does that mean exactly, and how can that happen?
Yeah, that means, again, it's the same statutory limit. So it's going to be a 2/3 vote to amend the Constitution to do something like that. I don't think Congress and Senate are going to be able to pass a law after the Supreme Court just said that it's a states' rights issue, that they could pass a law making it a federal issue, right? I don't know.
Probably not. And honestly, would they even have the votes? I mean, like that. To your point way earlier about no one ever made a law about this. That's true, but like, there's been up until very recently, there's been a fair amount of pro-life Democrats.
That's true. Yeah. So like when Obamacare passed in 2011, right?
Yep.
Or was it 2011 when it finally passed, or was it 2000?
I don't remember.
Anyways. The Democrats, for about an 18-month period, had a supermajority, right?
Yeah.
Like they had both houses and the presidency. That's how they were able to pass Obamacare in the first place.
Right.
They could have done anything they wanted to in that period. And they specifically chose not to do this because they didn't want to divide the country.
That was probably the only time they could have. I think they've had supermajorities in the once or twice before that between Roe.
In one house or another, yeah.
Yeah, between Roe being passed or anything else. But like, there's Bible Belt Democrats and shit like that. I mean, that just like Southern Democrats, for example, that were never going to do that.
Here's another. So the nuclear option is leverages the fact that a new precedent can be created by a senator raising a point of order. So you got to get your Robert's Rules of Order book out, or claiming that a Senate rule is being violated. If the presiding officer, typically a member of the Senate, agrees, that ruling establishes a new precedent. If the presiding officer disagrees, another senator can appeal the ruling of the chair. If a majority of the Senate votes to reverse the decision of the chair, then the opposite of the chair's ruling becomes the new precedent. So technically, an up or down vote could do it. The nuclear option.
Okay.
And that would.
Won't.
I don't know.
They would have.
If you do that, and then the Republicans win in November by January of 2023, it's bulls on fucking parade.
Right.
Everything Biden tries to do gets shut down immediately.
Right.
Everything the Republicans want to do for the next foreseeable future gets done.
Right. But I think this is one of those issues. I think guns and abortion, we've talked about it before in the past. This is the biggest issue that I think if there was a possibility to do it, it might be on this. So we'll see. Shit's going to get wild over the weekend. Thanks for joining us. Just wanted to chat about it today. Again, I understand the Constitution. Still not a fan of this ruling. Obviously, appreciate you ladies coming out and taking time out of the day to come over here. Sorry your birthday got canceled.
And a flat tire.
And a
Flat tire.
You've got a flat
and
tire.
I canceled a fucking hair appointment for this.
So we're going to raise the rest of the weekend for vaginas.
To be honest, like I was talking with Dan, I was like, dude, I don't think it's right that two dudes, even though it's Drinkin' Bros, come on and talk about these issues when clearly I don't have to go through any of the things that you guys do. And
you're going to have to get that snip snap.
It would be done,
Yeah.
I'm looking into something else.
Oh.
Yeah, looking into something else.
What's an alternative?
It's an iron dome, and you kind of just put it on the end of your penis, and it catches it.
It's like a net.
Yeah,
it's like a Brita water filter, and it catches the
very
sperm.
similar to what's they're using over in Israel.
I'm not going to do any more things.
Yeah, no, just
I'm
close shop.
I'm not going to have the kids. I'm not going to abort the kids. I'm not going to take the
care
fucking.
of
I'm
them.
not doing any more.
We're
look,
switching.
Dan,
to
look
anal.
at this.
Oh, no, Bob, you fucker. Oh,
called
dear.
That's what you're working with?
It's called sounding.
I like how there's
Oh.
I like how there's a clip on the side.
So what? He doesn't
To keep
lose
it in
in
there.
You don't
Keep it
want
in
to.
there.
It's an Allen wrench.
Yeah,
right?
by the way, did you see the Allen wrench
It's
one?
an Allen wrench, yeah. It is. It's an
Oh
Allen
my
wrench. Oh, yeah.
You just twist it. Ding,
It's called sounding, and that's the only way they can get off. Is
Yep.
you're going to have something inside of there.
So that's what your contraption looks
No.
like?
Mine's it's an iron dome like Israel. You can't see it.
Okay.
It's clear. It's an invisible force field. So I'm working with a team of scientists and some Israeli doctors.
Anytime you think about having another kid, just look at that picture. Every time. That looks
Feel a
awful.
lot easier to get a VSEC.
A VSEC. Yeah, maybe we'll do it live on air. Who knows?
It takes 10 minutes. You'll be fine. I believe in you.
Oh boy.
Then you get the good drugs, like Jesse said. They give you Valium and everything.
Well, that's a whole. So if I could negotiate some numbers out of these guys, you know, like a hundo, throw me a hundo pills, and then maybe we'll.
Snap.
Yeah, let's go
I'd
for
like
the Roxys.
to take,
Give me the good
I'd
shit.
like to take that to the Supreme Court. The fact that like a woman has a full-on baby out of the vagina and gets ibuprofen, and you guys get
That's all they gave you.
Can I
They
take
gave
all-
me
that's all I gave.
60 Vicodin.
It's
My mom took them
It's the
from me.
It's the inverse of the pink tax.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the pink tax
Yeah,
is
yeah.
where it's the same razor, but it's pink costs more.
Yeah.
And then the same level of pain.
It is. The
yeah,
female
yeah.
razors cost $2 more. I've
Yeah.
had to buy a men's one the other day. This is bullshit.
It's
Same
because
fucking thing.
That's your guy's fault for caring though. Dudes don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We're fucking piece of shit slobs, and they're like, oh, these fuckers don't care.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
they just give you the same thing and put a little glitter on it. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
this is actually a good
$3
product.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
that's right.
sensitive skin, for your sensitive flower.
Exactly.
Just buy fucking dudes' razors.
I did, and it works even better.
I get
it's the same goddamn razor.
I buy dudes tampons.
yes.
Oh boy, for the
well,
butt.
Yeah, for when you guys put vodka up the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
They're
cheap.
way more absorbent.
They're really cheap.
way
too.
more absorbent.
I'm
yeah.
surprised how many dudes in the chat here are angry about this. Where it's just like, bro, it has nothing to do with you.
It's like people who are super anti-gay
Yeah. It's like,
are secretly gay, right?
Yeah.
Rick Santorum's in a closet somewhere fucking
Yeah.
chugging dongs.
So are you saying these people are fetuses?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they all
It's like-
once were. I mean,
No, I think they don't have sex.
it's a
Like,
reasonable.
don't get any.
They don't.
What?
They don't.
I think the point that everybody that's pro-choice has the benefit of having been born. That's an interesting
Exactly.
statement to make.
Exactly.
it is, but we've all met people who shouldn't have been. Where it's just like, man,
We should
I
have
wish that
aborted you.
fucking kid was. You know,
But
like,
you have the ability to fucking take care of that later, right?
what do you mean?
Oh, because of the gun laws?
I mean, a couple of dudes in the chat, recommended arming the fetus.
Oh, that was me.
Is that you?
That was me. Yeah. Give
Thank
the
you,
fetuses
Delco.
AR-15s.
Yeah.
Delco,
Let
get out
them-
of the chat, bro.
Yeah. Let them figure it out for themselves.
Appreciate everybody's time today. We wanted to have an open, thoughtful conversation about this today. We got all the DMs and everybody asked our opinions, and we said we would go live. It's a bonus episode today. And look, no matter what side you're on, nobody's changing anybody's minds on this. So we'll see what happens.
Chris Beerworth says Roe versus Wade. I got Wade in 5.
That might be the line of the day right there.
That's a pretty good one, yeah.
That's
True.
Oh, fuck. Thanks for joining us, kids. We'll be back Sunday night at 8 o'clock EST on the old YouTubes and audio. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review, or Spotify. Just a 5-star, that's it, and you can throw your phone in the garbage can after that, because they don't have any texting features on there. For D'Anthony Holloway, Brittany D'Anthony, and then
Eden.
Mrs. Dan.
Mrs. Dan.
Mrs. Dan.
Jesse Weisman. I'm Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Podcast.